Welcome to The Critical Path, Project Management and Leadership in Complex Environments, the podcast where we explore how leadership and project management come together to deliver complex projects when failure simply isn't an option. I'm your host, Isaac Alcaide. Today, we are diving into a topic that often sparks debate in project management cycles, especially in organizations that are transitioning from traditional delivery models to agile ways of working. The episode is titled Earned Value versus Agile Metrics. Can they coexist? If you spent time in highly regulated industries like defense, aerospace, nuclear, major infrastructure, you've almost certainly encountered earned value management or EVM. It's a structured, rigorous approach to understanding cost performance and schedule adherence. It gives executive confidence. It provides boards with clarity. It's deeply embedded in contracts, governance frameworks, and assurance processes. And for many organizations, especially those dealing with safety critical systems, it isn't optional. On the other hand, if you've worked with modern delivery teams, software engineers, agile coaches, then you'll be familiar with agile metrics: velocity, cycle time, cumulative flow diagrams, throughput, lead time, team predictability, flow efficiency, and more. These metrics focus on value delivered, team behavior, system flow, and adaptability. They are less interested in percent complete and more interested in how well are we learning, improving, and delivering in small increments. And here's the tension. Earned value is rooted in the illusion of linearity. Agile is rooted in embracing change. Can these two worlds sit together without compromising one another? This is a question that is becoming increasingly important, and as organizations adopt hybrid governance models. Many programs today involve both hardware and software, both long lead procurement and rapid cycle development, both fixed obligations and iterative experimentation. So, in today's episode, we'll unpack what EVM is really trying to measure versus what Agile Metrics actually reveal, why conflicts arise between them, both technically and culturally, the misconceptions our team have when trying to mix the two, and most importantly, one detailed, practical example of one organization that successfully aligned EVM with agile delivery without losing the integrity of either approach. By the end of this approach, you should have a clearer sense of when these methods clash, when they complement one another, and how to build governance that is robust enough for executives, yet flexible enough for delivery teams. Let's get into it. At first glance, EVM and Agile seem completely incompatible, and value management assumes upfront definition of work, a baseline scope and schedule, a measurable percent complete, a predictable sequence of tasks, variances that must be explained and corrected. Agile delivery assumes change is normal, requirements evolve through discovery, value emerges iteratively, team level data matters more than high level forecasts. Predictability comes from short feedback loops, not long range Gantt charts. So the tension, as you can see, is very real. EVM says, tell me what you will deliver, how long it will take, and how much value you will earn along the way. Agile says, we'll tell you that when we understand the problem better. These worldviews clash when a program tries to satisfy a traditional governance system, often mandated by a client, while also empowering modern teams to deliver iteratively. The key problem is this: EVM measures adherence to a plan, Agile measure the effectiveness of adaptation. But what if the plan allows for adaptation? What if the baseline includes room for learning, change, and uncertainty? Suddenly, these methods no longer conflict. They become complementary. The real issue, therefore, isn't the tools, it's the mindset behind them. One of the biggest misunderstandings is that EVM is a forecasting tool. It isn't. EVM is a variance detection mechanism. It tells you whether you are ahead or behind against a defined plan. What it does extremely well: identify emerging cost overruns early, show whether work is being delivered as planned or not, reveal schedule slippage before it becomes critical, provide a consistent structure for reporting across large portfolios, build trust with stakeholders in high-risk, high-value programs. What it does poorly: manage uncertainty, reflect learning or discovery, model complex adaptive behaviour, handle unclear or evolving requirements, supporting innovation without frequent replanning. And this is where Agile Metrics shine. They measure flow, no tasks, value delivered, no percent complete, predictability in the short term, system bottlenecks, the team's ability to improve, responsiveness to change. If EVM tells you whether you are following the plan, Agile Metrics tells you whether you are improving the system. These are different, but not mutually exclusive perspectives. Traditional EVM is built on aesthetic baseline, but modern EVM thinking acknowledges baseline change control. If the baseline can evolve responsibly, and if agile teams deliver in small increments, you can track earned value on value slices rather than full requirements. In other words, decompose the work so EVM measure the incremental outcomes, while agile teams use sprint level data to deliver them effectively. This requires three things. Number one, a baseline built around capabilities or features, not tasks, not 300 line schedules capabilities. Number two, clear acceptance criteria and definition of done, so that earned value corresponds to genuine completion. Number three, a governance model that accepts iteration. You can have discipline change control without killing agility. Let's illustrate this with one real world scenario. An aerospace software upgrade program. An aerospace organization needed to modernize a complex mission control software suite. The contract required earned value management. However, the software teams worked in Scrum, delivered in 2-week sprints, with requirements continuously evolving as user feedback came in. At first, this created chaos. The EVM team wanted percent complete data for every work package. The software team refused. We don't do percent complete. Monthly reports show variances that reflected uncertainty rather than real performance. Executive lost confidence in the agile delivery. The agile teams felt pressure to artificially freeze requirements just to satisfy EVM. Well, you can tell me something had to change at that time. The program restructured its entire performance measurement baseline using 3 principles. Principle number 1 is the work packages aligned to capability increments. Instead of decomposing work into technical tasks, build module X, write interface Y, the baseline was built around capabilities. User can map targets with 20% more accuracy. System processes telemetry data at double the previous rate. Operators can complete mission planning 30% faster. Yes? Each capability was decomposed into features, each feature small enough to be delivered in 1-2 sprints. Principle number 2, end value claim only upon feature completion. Not 20% complete, 60% complete. No. A feature is 0% until done and 100% when past system tests and user acceptance. This solves multiple issues. and value now reflected real progress. Agile teams weren't forced into artificial task breakdowns. Quality improved because partial work earned zero value. Variance was now meaningful rather than noise. Principle number 3, Agile Metrics used to predict capability delivery. Although EVM tracked complete features, Agile Metrics were used to forecast when enough features will complete to earn the next work package. This way, the PMO used velocity trends, throughput, cycle time, cumulative flow diagrams, team predictability percentages. This enabled them to forecast feature completion dates, identify bottlenecks, provide SPI and CPI updates based on real data. Update the baseline responsibly when learning occurred. The outcome, within 6 months, schedule variance decreased sharply. Cost variance stabilized. Executive confidence in the program increased. The team regained autonomy. The organization delivered more capability faster than previous attempts. The key was recognizing that EVM measure the contract, Agile measure the delivery team. Both were necessary. I hope this example help. And now let's reflect a little bit about everything I said so far. When organizations argue about end value versus agile, the debate often hides a deeper question. What do we value more, certainty or adaptability? But this is a false choice, from my point of view. Large programs need both. They need the confidence, structure, and accountability provided by EVM. They also need the flexibility, learning, and responsiveness provided by Agile. The danger arises when leaders believe that governance must be heavy to be effective, or that agility means abandoning discipline. In reality, the most successful programs apply discipline to learning, not just to planning. The example we explore today show that coexistence is not only possible, it's often the best approach in complex environments where innovation and assurance must operate together. To make these systems compatible, organizations must shift EVM from task-based to capability-based planning, embrace incremental earning rules, use Agile metrics to forecast, not to justify, treat baseline changes as evidence of learning, not failure, build trust between governance teams and delivery teams. When this happens, earned value and Agile aren't adversaries. They are two lenses on the same reality. And just to conclude, can end value and Agile metric coexist? Yes, Absolutely. But only when we stop forcing one system to behave like the other. EVM give leaders a structure, auditable, quantitative view of progress. Agile Metrics give teams the insight they need to deliver effectively in uncertain domains. Together, they create a powerful hybrid model. Accountability without rigidity. Flexibility without chaos. Structured learning rather than structured prediction. If your organization is trying to combine these approaches, start small. Align your work packages to capabilities. Adopt 0-100 earning rules. Use Agile flow metrics to support forecasting. And treat the baseline as a living model. Thank you for joining this episode of The Critical Path. If you found it useful, consider sharing it with a colleague and stay tuned for episode number 5. Until next time, lead with clarity, deliver with integrity, and navigate complexity with confidence. Thanks for listening to The Critical Path, project management and leadership in complex environments. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow or rate the show on Spotify and share it with colleagues who work where reliability matters most. See you on the next episode of The Critical Path.